I don't know about you, but I can't remember the last time we were this divided. It's not solely the fault of the vax, in my opinion, but I want to hear what your opinion is. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to a special episode of the videocallin show. Now, normally my shows are on Sunday nights at 9 p.m., but today there's no shortage of things that we can talk about, and tonight is no different. I actually have many subjects in the wings that I'm thinking of bringing onto the show, all for discussion, of course. Now, this is the show that invites you to be a guest on the program. Joining is real easy. All you've got to do is open your Zoom app or visit zoom.us. Click on Join a Meeting. When it asks for a meeting ID number, enter in that number, and you will show up in my queue, and I'll take you on first come, first serve, or at least as soon as I am done with my diatribe. Tonight, one of the reasons I told you last week that... or Sunday, I should say, that I've decided to expand the show and go more. And I used to do this every night. I cut it down to Sunday nights, and that just wasn't enough. So I plan on doing more shows during the week than just Sunday night. I have yet to update my graphics to that effect, but that's okay. Now, the reason I wanted to come on tonight is because a few really strange things have happened, and they've kind of been happening during this whole pandemic sort of thing. And, but the latest iteration is, and this is what brought it to my attention. Someone did a video about George Takei. If you guys don't know who George Takei is, he was Sulu on the original Star Trek program. Well, he's been taking to Twitter, and on Twitter myself, when I was actually active on Twitter, I was not at all kind of Mr. Takei, because Takei, I don't know how you actually pronounce the damn thing, but I was not kind to him because we do not see eye to eye on so many subjects. Well, he decided to post this the other day, and I was just sickened by it. It says the willfully unvaccinated, for those of you who are driving, Tony, I'm thinking of you, who wind up in hospitals from COVID should not receive priority medical care over other very sick or injured people who are as much in urgent need of medical care. Now, I don't know about you, but that is absolutely terrifying. And I can't think for a moment what other scenarios he might also think that way. Well, I only use him as an example because he is very popular on Twitter, and he really just showcases that attitude. I mean, it's amazing. I want to preface tonight's show with the caveat that I am not an anti-vaxxer. I think especially the vulnerable should get vaccinated. But don't take my advice. I'm not a doctor. And none of us should actually be acting as doctors either. So when someone makes an individual choice or a medically advised choice not to get vaccinated, then that's up to them. With the problems that we've seen with the vaccination, the numbers that they've been telling us are real. Yes, Sulu is an asshole, but he's not the only one. This story just came out. I believe it was today. If it wasn't today, it was yesterday. Let's see the date on this, August 17th. So it was today. and again, these are attitudes that we're finding across the board. This middle school teacher in Washington State says, "Let them die," of the unvaccinated. And I can't imagine being more of a monster than to suggest that someone die because they either couldn't or wouldn't get vaccinated, or they're not at risk. So why would they get vaccinated? So yeah, she says, I am ready to say, let them die. And she posted this on Facebook. Worse off, and this really highlights what her actual goal is here. Says if we're lucky, we can cut out 30% of the population that votes the wrong way. Well, there you have it. I mean, if that hasn't been turning this political and becoming an absolute monster to your fellow human being, I don't know what does. But I'm hoping to hear from you folks that I'm either wrong or right on that. I tell you, it's my opinion that that I think they're doing this to divide us purposely. To what end, I don't know. If we take a look at the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's latest report on potential terror threats, the first thing we see is opposition to COVID measures. Well, we could all say follow the science, but do we really know what the science is? Science isn't etched in stone. Science is ever changing. Science is ever challenging itself to be wrong. It has even changed several times during this last year and a half, coming up on 2 years now. And for the Department of Homeland Security to turn inwards like that it should give us all pause for concern. All right, now that I've had my diatribe, I'm interested to hear how you folks think. Call in anytime you want to. All opinions are worthy of listening to. Let's say hello to some of the folks who've joined us on this rather odd night for a show. We've got Brandon Jackson. How you doing, Brandon? Good to see you as always. Soulless Trench Coat, always good to see you as well. Hello, Catherine Cook, back from Sunday. Jelly Doug, there's a name I haven't seen in a while. How you doing, Ahmed? We've got Jesse Mendez, and as soon as my chat comes back, why is it that YouTube does that? When you're on your live page, the chat just disappears. And of course, I gotta pause my video because I'm getting a little bit of stream yellowed here. I mean, it's okay if you don't want to talk about this. It's a touchy subject. Someone says in the chat, well, as a matter of fact, Silver Heist, how you doing? Thanks for being here. I don't think I've recognized that name for us. There's no shortage of things you're not allowed to talk about. Well, damn it, I'm going to talk about them. I don't care if they don't want me to or not. And I hope you guys feel the same way. It's on my dime, so worry not about who takes the heat for this. Well, good, Susan. I'm glad you don't agree. I mean, it's healthy not to agree, but that's why we have these. That's why we have these discussions, right? We'll never know until we actually exchange ideas, exchange thoughts, exchange potential solutions. That's the only way we can solve our problems. And have I not said this before? I'm sure I have. We've also got. Did I already say hello to you, Susan? I know you don't agree with me. That's okay. But we can talk about it, though. You should really come on. All this time and you haven't come on yet. You don't have to show your face. Let's see. Digging with Deej, how are you? Yeah, they are flawed, Digging with Deej. As a matter of fact, they've been telling us since day one that any death that tests positive for COVID is listed as a COVID death. We've all heard the stories about the individual who died in a motorcycle accident, just happened to test positive for COVID, and they listed it as COVID death. In fact, Susan Burke did it. I'll look up. Let me see if I can find my notes here, because I've literally compiled a list of state representatives that have said that very thing. And when they start talking about those comorbidities and even morbidities that have nothing to do with COVID, yet um, being listed as COVID deaths, you have to question the numbers. I know it's high. I know people are dying of COVID. I mean, I am not a denier at all. But I can't believe that it is as high as it is, given what they've already told us. Hang on just a minute, and I'll find out. There are several states that in their COVID briefings literally said if someone dies and they test positive for COVID, they are counting it as a COVID death. Well, isn't that kind of like saying? Isn't that kind of like saying that if you die from a heart attack and you've got hemorrhoids, it was a hemorrhoid death? See, that's why I have such a problem with the numbers that they're spewing or they're throwing at us. I think they're doing it as effect. In fact, that of course that's why the news does. They do it because it's great ratings. If any of you follow Project Veritas, you'll have seen some of the undercover video of CNN producers saying that it's all theater, and they all wanted the numbers to be higher, which is another just despicable outlook. But it's so common for today's media, and when I say today's media, probably in the last 4 or 5 decades, it's been a thing where sensational. Well, ever since the 24-hour news cycle, as a matter of fact, it's become nothing but sensationalism. And if they can, well, you didn't have to drop off whoever that was. I didn't see you. If you know, if it bleeds, it leads, that whole thing. It's one of the reasons I left broadcast television. Let me find this here. Yeah, even New York Times reported it back when they didn't have anything to gain from it. Colorado and Florida both walked back on their numbers and said that they're counting COVID deaths as deaths. Back, this is early. Where's Dr. Birx? Yeah, Dr. Birx said that the numbers are being padded, for lack of a better term. I'm using the term padded, but they were literally saying that that they were counting every death that tested positive for COVID was a COVID death. Not only is that deceitful, but it gives you absolutely no sense of perspective on the real dangers here. And that is why I think we're in this situation where, one, monsters like that middle school teacher and George Takai are saying, well, if you don't have the vax, you might as well die. How awful of a human being do you have to wish that on someone else? Do you also wish that on the obese? You know, come on, that is just a horrible, horrible thing to say. Oh, okay. All right. So without any further ado, let me, before I get to my first guest, I do want to say hello to the rest of the folks that I might have missed. Drone Kings in Darwin. How you doing, Bradley? Good to see you, man. We've also got Luke Duke. How you doing, man? Good to see you, fellow Hoosier. Spike School Prospecting. Nice to see you here as well. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. I don't know what you changed your name to, but BALSFFJK is nearly impossible to pronounce. But welcome back to the show. You've got a wrench, so you have to be somebody I know and has been on the show. By the way, if you think I'm heading in the right direction, now's a great time to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get to my first guest here, shall we? All right. Just love the background. Love the background. Hang on just a minute here. There we go. Can you hear me fine, sir?
Yes.
Take that as a yes. How you doing, Nag?
Nothing much. Just living life, going about promoting the liberation of Israel as I always do. What about yourself?
Well, you know, I'm trying to live life too, making the best of trying to make lemonades out of these lemons. I can't wait till Sunday's show. We get to talk about the buffoon who doesn't know how the military works and the vacuum that he's created. But aside from that, I'm doing okay, man.
Be more happy with things.
Well, I want to be.
My picture. Just look at my picture.
It makes me smile, Nag. It really does make me smile. But you know,
I went to church on Sunday and showed that to my Lord Jesus, and it even put a tear to his eye.
Showed it to your little Jesus. What does that mean exactly?
Lord Jesus.
Oh, Lord Jesus. I thought you said little Jesus.
That cross either be crying or there was a leak on the roof. But I was satisfied. Look, it sparkles.
It does sparkle.
Lo and behold. I made it like as such so it was epilepsy friendly. Some people don't like it too blinky, so I dulled it down a bit. But
how true? How true?
Symbolises love to me. So you're talking about this vaccine stuff, eh?
Well, it's not so much the vaccine; it's what it's done to people, what the media and our government officials have done to people, and how it's turned them into literal monsters. You don't hope. Yes. Tell me the truth, Neg. You don't hope that the unvaccinated either don't get medical care that they may need, or they should die. Do you?
Oh, I hope the unvaccinated are rounded up, taken to Auschwitz and gassed. And goodbye from Gamer on Nation.
Yeah, thank you. Good night. Yep. That's what I need. I need that sound effect.
You do, right. My view is on this is that I'm a man of science. There's been some very opinionated opinions in the chat that just aren't true. As for the whole what you're saying, I believe that each to their own. There's pros for the injection and there's cons against the injection. It just depends. I'm not going to, should we say, judge people just on whether they've been, unless they start the whole tinfoil hat conspiracy and start going, I haven't had my injection, man, because Bill Gates has put a Sony tracker in it, like stuff like that. I don't need to hear, because it's not true. It's not true, is it?
Well, we don't know it's not true, but I would say it's not true. I mean, you can't.
Okay.
You know, we can't say definitively that it's not true, but yeah, I don't think it's true. I think it's a bunch of conspiracy nonsense. But
well, it's not true.
Well, we don't know that.
True. That's like me going. Every cup of water that you drink out of your tap, Biden's giving you AIDS. It's just completely and factually just a mess.
Well, of course, you'd need evidence for that for that making that claim, right?
Well, the same as the tracker. There's no tracker, but you've still got people doing it.
Oh, I know. I see it all the time. Yeah.
And by the way, I'm coming to America, of course, soon. President Biden, if you're listening in and not asleep, I didn't mean the AIDS joke. It was a joke. Please don't get confused and send someone after me. Thank you.
Well, that's an empty wish. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It's an empty wish. One, he's on vacation, and two, he won't remember. Yeah, he's on vacation. He's Camp David. He won't remember Camp David by the time he gets back.
Camp David?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Well, apparently they do.
Well, Mr. President, I hope your round of dominoes is going fucking splendid, sir. That's what we'll be doing, isn't it? That's what they do. Macaroni paintings, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, Blizzo Aquatics. Anyway, thanks for being here. Says, I wish it wasn't political like the 1900 Spanish flu. Absolutely. It's turned entirely political. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying, Nag?
No, it's extremely divisive. Mm-hmm. They're treating the way they're going about. This isn't a joke. They're treating non-vaccinated people in some areas literally like paedophiles now. You're being absolutely demonized. Over here, they're starting to do it. And,
yes.
Unless there needs to be clarity given to us by our governments in order for us to trust them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening. I really don't.
I personally believe that the vaccine is a lot more than it's made out to. It's being made out to be a lot more than it is. May I go on a little scientific autism tangent?
You might. Yes, go right ahead. You may, I should say.
Okay, right. So here's my science here. Okay, so you have the coronavirus, yes?
Yes.
COVID. There's multiple forms of COVID, yes? Coronavirus.
Yep. Multiple forms of SARS, the COVID variety, strain. Yep.
This jab that is supposed to make you not immune from it, but protected against it, right?
Somewhat protected. They actually, before you go down that road too deep, what they said was that, you were protected. Now they've changed it. Remember, I was talking about changing the science. They've changed it to where, you can still get it, but your symptoms won't be as severe. Changed midstream, I might add.
Splendid. So, okay. Right. There is more than one form of COVID, as I was saying a minute ago. So if this one fits all, one shoe fits all injection, which apparently does, it's supposed to give you a resistance against all, then you would have resistance against the common cold. That doesn't happen.
No.
It's a form of coronavirus. Every year they have to invent a new flu jab because the strain mutates and changes and elderly people have to get it and get the new one. So how is this injection covering the new Delta variant? It's scientifically impossible to have one on one and one of the other. So now they're recommending a third jab to essentially overload people's autoimmune system and give them the defense they need. That in itself should have people just questioning, not about the conspiracy theory, not about the team. The science is there in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
If this third injection is going to give you even more higher immunity against even this new Delta variant and the other forms of coronavirus, then essentially we will all be immune from the common cold if we listen to what we're being told.
Right.
But that's not true.
Yeah.
Stick a spatula up my asshole and call me Sally. That's a pile of shit, Johnny. I know your name's Jimmy, but I just think it sounded better saying Johnny at that specific time.
I may end up changing it to Johnny.
Well, I hope you liked my little spatula thing. I didn't even know where that came from. It was just
Well, you know me. I like the unexpected. So awesome.
You.
No, thank you.
I like clarity from my government. So.
Yeah. Don't we all? And it's just too damn bad we can't get it. Well, we can't get it if they're going to literally tell us that, certain benign thoughts and are now terrorist threats. That's just that just blows me the hell away. And it just leads me to believe, and this may be putting on a small conspiracy theory hat, but this leads me to believe that they're going to use this somehow as a political segregation. I don't know what that looks like, but that's just unbelievable.
It was going to be a colour war, to be honest, the way our countries were going. There was let's be honest, so much black and white division. It was getting ridiculous, and some of it was self-inflicted, some of it was politics. Wouldn't it be crazy if it did become literally a vaccine war?
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would be unbelievable.
But it would be a minority. It's going to be a tiny few percent against 89% of people in my country have now received the jab.
89%. That's high. Good for you. I forget where we're sitting.
What I'm armed with here is a spatula or a pencil or something. That's my firearm of defence in this grand civil war in England. So it's not really going to go very far, sir.
Oh, you guys should have adopted.
I've got a hairbrush.
Yeah, you guys should have adopted a version of our Constitution when you had the chance.
No, I don't want that. I'll take your Constitution when I colonise your bloody lands once more. I told you it's coming.
Once more.
I've been saying it for years. It's coming. I just need that COVID to bugger off so I can row over without having to wear a mask. To get out of breath. It's hard enough rowing without having to breathe through a freaking regulator all the time. So I've already got the water stored up. I've got my 3 packets of ramen noodles. All I have to do is just add boiling water. You go, sir. I'm coming to your house first.
We're going to keep you from any water source. So, and don't forget, the blade or a rifle behind every blade of grass.
I wish there was. They're very, very small rifles, sir.
Hey, dude,
Very small rifles.
I got another guest, so I'm gonna have to move on.
No. You
Yeah,
ain't
yeah,
moving
yeah,
on. I
yeah,
want to
yeah.
know about these rifles behind this grass. Have you employed some hobbits? How do you not see them?
No. Do you know what I'm referring to? It was one of the.
I do know what you're referring
okay.
to, Mr. Jim, sir. But what do you think of my impression of Samwise Gamgee? That's not bad, is it?
I loved it.
Oh, Mr. Frodo, get your finger out of my bum. I love saying that. Right, I'm going.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
Who's up next, by the way? I like being nosy.
I don't know. I don't recognize the
I
name.
hope he shows you his penis.
Well, I have emergency measures for that.
I know you do. You did it with me when I first came up.
I did not.
You did. You held me in the lobby for a second. I saw you, and then
that wasn't
anyway.
it.
Yes, it was.
Hey, thanks
God bless you. It's lovely to see you.
Yeah, lovely to see you. Thanks for your opinion, man. I appreciate it. Take care, Nag.
I didn't give you opinion. I gave you science, motherfucker.
Well, that
science.
too. Thanks for the science. We'll see you, Nag.
And last bit of science before you kick me is have no fear about COVID. Jesus saves.
Oh, man. Okay, I am going to get to my next guest. But I do want to address some of the items in the if you guys have a question for me or my guest, make sure you tag me so I can see it show up in the chat and making it makes it much easier for me to respond to. Yeah, Kathy Bates has a good. It said if you're for the vaccine, if you got it and wear a mask, then you shouldn't have a problem if someone doesn't have the shot. Absolutely. Unless it never goes away. It never will go away, Susan. We're going to have to live with this, like all the other diseases and pathogens that we trade every day, normal life. You know, when you're speaking to somebody, you're trading pathogens like crazy. That's why when it becomes at such a saturation point, you're actually sick. That's why you should quarantine yourself so that you don't infect others. But we trade them every single day, and we build up natural immunities to them too. Think about folks who find new lands and new civilizations who have never been exposed to the same diseases and pathogens that the landers had. It usually wipes them out. They had no natural defense against it. And I think I talked about this on the mask show. I think it's imperative that we expose ourselves to this on a regular basis so that we can reach herd immunity. They're talking about herd immunity being in numbers. No, your herd immunity is literally when the affected aren't as rampant as when the virus or pathogen is new. So, and we've got to work toward that. It's isolation is arguably the worst thing you can do when it comes to this isn't the bubonic plague, but it carries with the same thing. You know, they recommend you wash your hands, sanitize, that sort of thing. You should probably be doing it to your face as well. This is the first thing, you do is touch your face with your hands, or more often than not during the day. So that should happen. But hygiene and herd immunity will get us through this unless it remains political. Oh, sorry, got off on a tangent. Spike's gold prospecting said if the Afghanistan army was determined as anti-vaxxers, they would have been okay for a while. Yeah, probably. Yeah, and they didn't learn anything in 20 years, and that's partly the West's fault. It really is. So Whizzle Aquatics, thanks for being here, man. Yep, I see years down the road, they will have a panel of what went wrong. They will have more science, what happened. Yeah, the Texas governor got it with the vaccine, but it is fine, no symptoms. And that's true for so many more, too. And yeah, they'll have a panel, but I fear that panel won't be objective. They're likely to turn out a political answer rather than a scientific one. But that's just my pessimism. Normally, I'm an optimist, but in this case, I'm very pessimistic. Susan Hamlin says we are kind of learning about COVID vaccines. Well, we're learning about the COVID vaccines. We know very much about vaccines. We've had vaccines for decades, almost been over a century now. Yeah, and it's still going on. Gaffa Haynes, which Gaffa, I think you've been on the show before. Every year they give last year's flu vaccine because they haven't got one for the current strain. It'd be the same for COVID, I'm afraid. Yes, probably will. Probably will. Or may go, I don't know. Oh, let's see. I need a vaccine for politics. Well said, Wizzle. Well said. So Jesse Mendez and his wife got it. Digumadish, I am not going to divulge my my medical history, and I don't. I wouldn't ask anybody to divulge that. What I'm trying. Well, I'm not remaining neutral here because I have an opinion on how people believe about the vaccinated versus the non-vaccinated, but I don't want to discuss my personal medical history outside of my foot and my back. But that's not those are physical ailments. Gaffa wants to know if I feel more English after I converse with the gamer. No, not really. No. I used to be able to do a really good English accent. The gamer could probably tell me from what area that it's from. I couldn't tell you myself, but I don't do it anymore. Oh, yeah. It's going to be more than just that. You know, Susan, that's called freedom. Yeah. Keep meaning to switch to independent. Basically, I'm a Democrat with liberal leaning. Well, you know, there's nothing wrong with traditional liberals, especially when you look at the freedom side of what that moniker actually was developed for. It's the progressive left that I, of course, have a problem with because they have just literally lost their minds. I heard today that that they're all about IDs for vaccine passports, and yet still vehemently against voter ID. And that's another show that we're going to have on voter ID because, well, it just makes sense. And I want to get your feedback. I want to hear from people who have an argument against all states having voter identification in order to vote. A person has been told by my doctor, doesn't advise me to get it. Yeah, see, that's Kathy says that, and that's exactly what I was talking about. There was a lot of those out there, and yet people are demonizing those people for not getting the vaccine, and I find that just horrific, just horrific. Jesse's got to go. We'll see you later, Jesse. Get my dose of salt. How you doing, Herman? Great. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Well, yeah. What I would say to that, Digumadish, what does my vaccination history have to do with the subject at hand? Whether I have it or not, I would never look at my fellow human being for a choice that they've made, and tell them that I hope they die. So that it really doesn't matter at all. Yes, and so have we in Indiana. We've had voter ID for years. In fact, we were one of the first. So, all right, let me see what my next guest has to say about these things. Can you hear me? Are you there? There you are. Hello. Can you say something? I want to make sure you can hear me. Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you, man?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Doing just fine. All right, what brings you to the show tonight?
I thought I've been on the show before a long time ago, and I thought you had an interesting topic tonight, so I decided to hop on.
Oh, cool. I don't recognize your face. That's rare for me.
Um,
Names I'm terrible at. Faces, not a problem. Well, it's good to have you back on the show, man.
yeah, it's been like a couple years, man. It's been
Okay.
like a few years, so I've only been on once, so
Oh.
I expect you not really to remember me that much.
Well, like I said, welcome back to the show. What were your thoughts on tonight's subject? You have any?
Um, First of all, I would like to thank you for like tackling this because a lot of people are afraid to talk about it, you know. But it is crazy how the world is getting divided over a shot, you know.
Yeah, it sure is. And thank you. I appreciate you appreciating the topic for tonight. I really do. It was a decision I made. I would say a couple months ago that I was going to have to talk more about issues that affect us all, rather than what's your favorite album.
Oh yeah, I've been following you for a little bit. I go by the Soulless Trenchcoat.
Oh,
I've been following you for.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't recognize the the phone Galaxy Tab.
Yeah.
Is
So
that what?
this is from the device. This is from what's it called, the tablet. So yeah.
Okay. That's what it is. Now it's all coming back to me. Well, good to see you again, man. Um,
Oh, it's good to see you too.
I certainly hope that I mean it's become a trend, this division between people, and I hope something changes. And one of the reasons I wanted to have this discussion was to kind of if nobody's talking about it, then there will be no change. So we've got to talk about it.
Oh, for sure. I've seen like family turn on family and be like, "You're the good guy, you're the bad guy," and stuff like that. But in the end of the day, people gotta remember there are no good guys and bad guys. We're all just people. You know, we're not. There's no good guys. This isn't a comic book. This is real life. You know?
Yes, couldn't have said it better myself. Now, we had a discussion Sunday, and we kind of attributed that sort of thing to today's technology. You know how most people are just buried in their phones, and their interaction with other human beings is behind a keyboard. It makes it so much easier to be nasty, like our friend Mr. Sulu. Uh, do you think that contributes to the vitriol, the anger, the separation and the division?
Well, it's just information can be spread so much easier and fast, which is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because it leads into people, they're able to hate on people and be like, oh, like it's very, all of this is petty bull crap, this is like this is just another level of division from like, you got race, you got sexual orientation, religion, what are the other ones? There's
Don't forget political
politics,
affiliation. Yeah.
division. Yeah, it's like two kids fighting on a playground. It's all petty stuff. Like, oh, I don't like that you like Power Rangers. Let's fight. Like, that's what I feel like. It's on a bigger scale, but
Yeah, but and they're fighting by distance, right? They're not face to face. They're fighting by distance, so it tends to get nastier, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, face to face, it's like, yeah, it's probably going to get physical, but most people don't want it to get physical. But behind a computer, you can say whatever you want without, a fear of being attacked.
Yes.
Unless you meet like a hacker or something, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, and I think it does a disservice to discussion because people don't measure their response as much as they do in person.
Oh, for sure. I think people should have the right to have different beliefs and be able to get along. As as long as you're not like trying to hurt people, as long as you're like, a good person, why does it matter?
Right. Exactly. And you almost have to assume that the person on the other end of that discussion, virtual discussion, is a good person as well until they prove otherwise.
For sure.
Yeah, a lot of times that doesn't happen. People just jump right in and say, "You've got to be a bad person because you said something I don't agree with." That can't be good.
Yeah, I feel like the internet, because I feel like we've all been in this where we don't, like, some people don't think before they act, and I've been a victim of this too, where you just get emotional and you just dive in and, like, you're like, there's no consequences, you just act, which is, not a good thing to do. And I think we've all done that once in a while, either in real life or on the internet, and that's something to work on.
Yes.
And not feed into. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we're human and we're imperfect. And we will always make and we're emotional as well. We will always make those, I wouldn't say mistakes, but let's say missteps, because it could depend on the situation. What separates us from the crazed is that we have self-awareness and we can stop ourselves when we find ourselves going down that rabbit hole, right? Or at least rational people can. Or at least I hope, yeah.
For sure. Like, it's like this. It's like, just because you don't agree with someone's action doesn't mean that they're a bad person. I think people forget that. And, like, I know, because I have different beliefs on certain things, and I'm friends with people who have different beliefs from me, but I don't get mad at them. They don't get mad at me. We're able to talk and have a conversation, something that, like, the world's forgotten, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, in some ways, I agree with you. Yeah, we have kind of lost the art of interaction, like we were talking about, especially when it comes to virtual discussions. People just they assume the worst, and the anonymity factor just even not even the anonymity factor. Think about people on Facebook literally tearing people that they've known at one time or another, new ones over subject matter like this. It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Which would never have happened before the technological revolution. Not from afar.
Oh no, man! It's the fear mongering, man. People are really afraid.
Yes.
People are really afraid and losing sight of their values because of their fear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No question about that. No question about that. Fear is arguably the one of the worst. If you succumb to it, then it's over for you, because one, you're not going to be able to react properly. It's a natural response because we actually have developed fear to keep us from being eaten, right? Back in the day. And some people allow it to grip themselves so tightly that that they're just hanging on by a thread. And then when they hear that people aren't getting vaccinated, that there's some sort of danger to them, that's when people snap. Like, again, Mr. Sulu and that teacher, and all the hundreds of thousands of people who've gone down that same road. And it in and itself is a danger, honestly. You don't think for a moment that Mr. Sulu would have said that during the times of the Japanese internment, right? World War II. He wouldn't have said, "Oh, yeah, we need to put all of the Japanese Americans into intern camps." Well, just because they're Japanese Americans. So that selective sort of application is what I'm most frustrated by, and I kind of sounds like you are too.
Oh, for sure. Like, the thing is that I'm kind of afraid because it looks like I've heard about the camp idea, and it seems like a lot of people would just go along with this because they are afraid. I feel like I wish in a world where people would realize, oh, this is wrong. They don't agree with me, but that doesn't mean lock them up. But in this day and age, I think a lot of people would be okay with it and think it's for the greater good and all that bull crap. And that scares me, man, because that means humanity's lost. I think I think like humanity in general has lost the day that we think locking people up in camps just for a choice is okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. I can't remember who said it, but this saying says it best. Liberty will not die by thunder, but with a round of applause. And that means, like you said, that people will literally cheer as their liberty are taken from, it could be them, could be a certain sect of people, or so that is a piece of wisdom that I've held on for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I hope this passes. I hope we get back to
Me
a
too.
sense of rationality and well, I'll dare say, compassion for our fellow humans.
Oh, for sure, man. It's just the the thing is just the fear and everything. I just wish it would just go back to normal and stuff. I think we can fight this, and I don't think that one way has to win. We can win both ways because, like, the thing is, we can find a way to come together. Hopefully, it's just there are certain people that are always going to stop that from happening. But I hope we can find a way to come together and realize, yeah, it's not a one-way solution. We can work around this.
Yes.
It's like no one's a villain.
I agree, man. I agree. And I hope you're right. I mean, if there was ever a glimmer of hope, it's that everyone seems to think this is the first time that that we've ever gone through something like this. As living individuals, yeah, it's probably the first time. But same way with the riots and whatnot. If anyone who's lived through the '60s knows that's not true. If anyone is still alive from the teens, they know that a panic is not, something that we haven't experienced before, and we've bounced back from both of those as small examples. I have to hang my hat on that we will get through this as well. As soon as the buffoon number two is out of office, and hopefully we get somebody rational in there, I think we'll be okay. Yeah, would you agree?
Yeah, I don't trust any of them in office, to be honest. But it's like
I don't either.
hopefully, I hope someone good will come in, but I don't trust any of them, honestly. Hopefully.
I'm with you on that too, man. Totally with you on that. Well, listen, man. I think we've exhausted just about everything everything I set out to talk about tonight. Any final words? Any parting words?
But just thanks for having me on, and thanks for like not being judgmental and actually having a conversation. Like,
Well, you're welcome, man. It's always nice talking to people, whether they agree with me or not. I mean, I'm kind of a people person. Some would say I'm not, but I think I am. And it's just nice to hear differing opinions, and sometimes it's nice to hear similar opinions. So thanks for coming on, man. I
oh,
appreciate that.
thanks for having me, man. It's
Don't
a pleasure.
Yeah, don't be a stranger, all right?
Oh yeah, no, I'll come back. I'll come back for sure.
All right, all right. Thanks, old Trenchcoat. We'll talk to you real soon then.
Bye. Stay frosty.
All right, bye bye.
How do you? Oh,
I did not recognize him. But it's great to have you on, man. That was a lot of fun. Um, I think what I'm going to do at this point is close the phone lines out. It's the first Tuesday in a while, or I'm sorry, Wednesday that I've done a show in a while. We'll stop right about 50 minutes. We're cool with that. I hope you guys are as well. But I do want to address a few things in the chat, if I might. There's a lot of discussion going on here. Let's see. Oh, well, handsome things. Uh, Kathy Bates, Jim, should I risk almost certain death and get it, or not get it and risk going out and getting hurt by other people? Well, Kathy, that's a tough situation. If it were me and my doctor told me not to get it, and I was concerned about it, being that I might be vulnerable, to, a severe COVID reaction, then yeah, I would probably just make sure that I personally social distance. Whether other people were or not is irrelevant. You can always keep people at arm's length. And if you feel comfortable with the mask, I don't believe that they do a whole lot. They're better than nothing, obviously, but wear a mask too. Um, Digumdij, what did I say that you say no one in this chat would ever say something like that? So please let me know, because I don't know where we were at that point. Spike's Gold Prospecting says, I read the story of Typhoid Mary the other day. It was very eye-opening. They locked her up from making others sick. Just saying. Well, yeah. I don't know how to respond to that, but yeah. Oh, people with AIDS who knowingly exposed other are prosecuted. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But AIDS was, as a matter of fact, when that law was placed into effect, AIDS was a death sentence, an absolute death sentence. So you're literally assaulting. COVID is not. COVID has a 97 to 99% recovery rate across the board, not in certain age groups, but across the board. I don't think the two are comparable. And I would have to do some research on typhoid as well to find out what the difference is. Love My Drones, welcome to the show. Says, if the vaccine works, then vaxxed had nothing to fear from those who are not. I would agree. What they were saying, of course, they've turned that on its head and said other people are still in danger of the vaccinated, which is why they want all of the draconian measures back in place. Businesses closed down, masks on, indoors, and social distancing in place. So, my kids are Trumpers, but they believe in science and doctors and got vaccinated to protect me. That's cool. That's fantastic. I literally helped my father. Well, I didn't know if he was going to get vaccinated, but I was happy that he was vaccinated. He's a cancer survivor as well. But him being vaccinated gave me the chance to actually spend some time with him. Let's see. Vaccine has never offered resistance to anything other than hospitalization. That's not what they said at first, Digomadish. That is not what they said at first. They said everything was going to be A-OK normal as long as we had everyone vaccinated and no one would have to worry about it until next season, of course, like the flu. Staying out of the hospital works for me. Yep, I get it. Nobody wants to get severely ill. Absolutely no one wants to get severe. Well, I can't say that. As soon as I say that, something will happen or it's kind of like you can search for anything, any sort of fetish or any type of thought process or anything like that. Chances are there's somebody out there that enjoys it. Like there's probably somebody out there who literally wants to get very, very sick. I don't know what to make of those, but thanks, Susan. Appreciate that. Says good conversation. One needs vaccine if they have been polluted for years by big pharma. Interesting take. We've seen most every commercial on TV. That's another thing. Doth thou, or I think thou doth protest too much. I mean, there something that gives me pause when I think about how everyone is reacting to this vaccine and running to get it is that they are literally bribing people to get it. I can't remember ever in history where that has been the case. Bribery to get a vaccine, especially given the recovery rate. Let's see. Okay. All right, folks. I think I've exhausted this subject for tonight. Doesn't mean that we won't revisit it. Make sure you join us Sunday when we talk about the Afghanistan pullout. Should be a good one. I think I'm going to move that to 8 p.m. as well. So, but until then, thanks again for my guests. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. You guys mean the world to me. And we will see you again Sunday. But, well, before I go, remember, treat others the way you would want to be treated. If we all did that, this world would be a better place. Take care, folks.